In the year 2137, humanity's gaze was fixed outward, toward the stars. For decades, deep space probes had been launched into the void, tasked with searching for signs of life or messages from distant civilizations. The Orion XII, one of the most advanced listening stations orbiting Jupiter, was no exception. Dr. Ilara Min, a seasoned astrophysicist, was among the few who still believed that the cosmos held secrets worth unraveling. Secrets that might change the course of human history. Her team monitored streams of data from Orion XII with unwavering dedication, hoping for a discovery that would justify their years of work. One cold morning, as Earth slowly rotated beneath the probe's orbit, the instruments picked up a faint, fragmented signal drifting from the Andromeda border. It was unlike anything recorded before, a delicate pattern of pulses layered with an unusual frequency that seemed almost intentional. Ilara's heart quickened as she replayed the transmission. It was a message, fragmented and cryptic, but unmistakably a warning. The signal spoke of an ancient civilization that had fallen victim to a relentless cosmic threat, the Idrics. These beings, the message explained, were not warlike in the traditional sense, but consumed entire star systems by merging their biosynthetic essence with planets and lifeforms. They were a collective force, unfeeling, unstoppable, and indifferent to the destruction they left behind. Ilara and her team worked feverishly to decode more of the signal, piecing together the last echoes of a dying race's desperate plea. But when she brought her findings to Earth's governing council, the response was disappointing. "Sounds like science fiction," one official said dismissively. "We have more pressing concerns: resource shortages, political unrest. We can't waste money chasing ghost stories." A high-ranking diplomat added, "Even if it's real, what can we do? Panic won't help. We focus on our problems here on Earth." The decision was made swiftly. Funding for deep space monitoring was cut, and the signal was archived under classified files, effectively buried. Despite the dismissal, Ilara refused to give up. She gathered a small circle of trusted colleagues, scientists, engineers, and diplomats, who quietly began working outside official channels. They believed that the warning was genuine and that humanity needed to prepare, even if the rest of the world chose to turn away. In the weeks that followed, strange phenomena began appearing across the solar system. Automated probes near the Kuiper Belt recorded subtle changes in asteroid compositions. Lunar rovers sent back data showing shifts in regolith patterns, almost like a slow-moving biological process. No one else paid attention. Ilara felt a growing sense of urgency. The warning was clear, but the world had dismissed it. Humanity was blind to the danger creeping closer, and in the silence that followed the signal, a slow, unseen shadow began to stretch across the stars. Months passed since the warning signal was dismissed, and the world's attention remained fixed on terrestrial issues, political disputes, climate challenges, and rapid technological advances. Yet, beneath the surface, something subtle and unsettling was unfolding. Far beyond Earth's bustling cities, the lunar colonies, small scientific and mining outposts scattered across the moon's far side, began to experience strange anomalies. Communications that had been steady suddenly grew erratic, then ceased altogether. At the Lunar Research Station Selene, a team of engineers led by Commander Marcus Albright scrambled to reestablish contact. The station's systems were operational but displayed odd readings. Environmental sensors showed shifts in atmospheric composition. Soil samples revealed inexplicable changes in mineral structure, and power fluctuations hinted at an unseen influence. Marcus reviewed the data in frustration. "No solar flares or meteor strikes to explain this," he muttered. "It's like the moon itself is changing." He dispatched an autonomous drone to investigate the neighboring colony of Tranquility Base. As the drone transmitted back its findings, the images sent a chill through the crew. Vast areas of regolith appeared fused with an iridescent material, as if slowly transformed by an unknown force. There were no signs of life, no distress signals, no obvious cause. Back on Earth, Dr. Ilara Min's underground team monitored the lunar reports with growing concern. They had predicted some form of infiltration, not violent conquest, but a gradual merging of biology and technology. The changes on the moon fit their theory. The Idrics were not simply destroying, but assimilating, transforming environments into something new and alien. However, when Ilara reached out to government officials and media outlets to share her findings, the response was cold and dismissive. Without hard evidence of a threat, it's speculation, a spokesperson said. We cannot disrupt international cooperation based on unverified claims. Meanwhile, independent scientists and journalists, frustrated by the official silence, launched their own investigations. They traveled to the lunar launch sites, analyzed surface samples returned by cargo missions, and interviewed former colonists. Patterns emerged, disappearances aligned with the spread of strange biosynthetic growth, and anomalies in satellite data suggested an intelligence operating in the shadows. As public interest grew, the government doubled down on secrecy, warning against spreading alarmist misinformation. Many wondered if this was an attempt to hide something or to prevent panic. Commander Marcus, refusing to wait for orders, led a covert expedition to the lunar far side's most affected zone. What they found was staggering: an ecosystem of alien origin, delicate yet inexorable, weaving itself into the lunar landscape. It was not hostile in the conventional sense, but its presence disrupted everything known about life. Marcus recorded his impressions in a private log. This is no enemy. It's a living network, a presence that changes the rules. We don't know if it's a threat or an opportunity, but ignoring it won't make it disappear. Back on Earth, the silence of official channels echoed louder than ever. The warning had been dismissed once, but the consequences were beginning to unfold, quietly, inexorably, and without mercy. While the world debated whether the strange lunar phenomena warranted attention, changes began creeping closer to Earth itself, almost unnoticed, yet impossible to ignore for those paying close attention. In remote regions on Earth's surface, from the vast Siberian tundra to the dense rainforests of the Amazon, biologists started observing subtle but unusual shifts. Plants once familiar were altering their growth patterns, leaves folding in strange ways, roots intertwining with what appeared to be microscopic strands of a new, unknown material. Dr. Amara Singh, an ecologist specializing in plant interactions, was among the first to raise the alarm. During a routine field study, she discovered a peculiar organism, neither plant nor animal, but a living bionetwork that seemed to communicate through light pulses and chemical signals. It appeared symbiotic, yet its origins baffled her. Her findings matched similar reports from across the globe. Algae in the Great Lakes showed inexplicable fluorescence. Coral reefs began exhibiting a bioluminescent shimmer, even in daylight, and desert microorganisms displayed rapid adaptability to extreme climates. Humanity was witnessing a transformation not wrought by destruction, but by assimilation, an expansion of life that blurred the boundaries between the organic and synthetic, the alien and the familiar. Meanwhile, underground research groups, led by Dr. Ilara Min, delved deeper into this phenomenon. Using advanced scanners and satellite data, they traced faint energy signatures that aligned with the expanding bionetworks. The patterns were deliberate, like a vast web weaving itself across the planet, yet no hostile intent could be detected. Instead, the changes brought unexpected benefits. Degraded soils showed signs of rejuvenation, polluted waters began to clear, and certain disease-resistant traits emerged in flora and fauna exposed to the bionetworks. Some communities, especially indigenous peoples closely connected to nature, reported a renewed sense of balance and vitality in their environments. However, not all were eager to embrace these changes. Governments and corporations wary of losing control over natural resources dismissed the phenomena as ecological anomalies or the effects of climate change. Skeptics branded Ilara's team as alarmists or fringe scientists. Amara, in a rare meeting with Ilara, shared her concerns. This isn't just an ecological shift. It's a fundamental rewriting of life's code. We don't fully understand it, but it's growing stronger every day. Ilara nodded solemnly. And if this is the work of the Idrics, they're not here to destroy us. They're here to integrate us. The question is, can humanity accept such a profound transformation without losing what makes us human? Across Earth's cities, in the cafes, universities, and homes, discussions sparked. Was this an invasion or evolution? Threat or opportunity? The line blurred. Meanwhile, subtle attempts at communication with the bionetwork began. Using light patterns, sound frequencies, and neural interfaces, scientists sought to bridge the gap between human consciousness and the expanding alien intelligence. It was a delicate dance, a silent infiltration of ideas and understanding rather than weapons and war. Humanity stood at a crossroads, challenged not by brute force, but by the invitation to evolve or resist a change far beyond their imagining. And somewhere in the vastness of space, the Idrics watched patiently, waiting to see what choice Earth would make. The world was changing, though few realized just how deeply. In quiet laboratories and hidden research facilities, scientists worked tirelessly to understand the growing bionetwork enveloping Earth. It was no longer just an ecological curiosity. It was becoming a vast, interconnected intelligence. The strands of alien biology were weaving themselves into the planet's natural systems, forming a subtle but undeniable web of consciousness. Dr. Ilara Min's team was at the forefront of this revelation. After months of painstaking research and countless sleepless nights, they uncovered the most astonishing discovery yet. The bionetwork was not simply a force of nature, but a form of collective intelligence, a vast mind spanning continents and oceans, silently observing and adapting. Using advanced quantum scanners and neural mapping technology, the researchers managed to isolate signals that suggested intentional communication. Patterns of pulses resembled a language, complex, layered, and deeply nuanced. The Idrics, it seemed, were attempting to reach out. At first, the idea was met with skepticism and fear. Could this alien intelligence be trusted? Was it benevolent, or was this the first step toward domination? But Ilara saw beyond fear. She believed that the Idrics, though alien and strange, sought connection rather than conquest. Their actions, merging ecosystems rather than destroying them, spoke of a desire to preserve and evolve life, not to annihilate it. To test this, Ilara proposed an unprecedented experiment: to build a mind bridge, a neural interface capable of linking the human consciousness directly with the bionetwork's intelligence. It was a risky endeavor, as the complexity and alien nature of the network made outcomes unpredictable. Volunteers came forward: scientists, philosophers, even artists, those who felt humanity's future depended on understanding the unknown rather than fearing it. Among them was Kian Reyes, a linguist and empath, who believed that communication was the key to coexistence. Wearing the interface helmet, Kian entered a meditative state as the machine synchronized his brainwaves with the network's signals. What followed was unlike anything recorded in human experience. Kian felt his senses expand beyond the physical. Thoughts and images flowed in and out, a flood of memories from distant stars, ancient civilizations, and the Idrics themselves. The collective consciousness shared stories of loss, survival, and hope. The Idrics were refugees of the cosmos, survivors of a cataclysm that had shattered their homeworld. Their merging with other life forms was a way to preserve existence, a cosmic arc of consciousness carrying the essence of countless species. Kian's connection ended hours later, leaving him transformed. He described the experience as both humbling and enlightening, proof that intelligence and empathy could transcend form and species. News of the mind bridge spread, igniting debates worldwide. Skeptics warned of dangers, but many saw the promise of a new chapter, one where humanity could join a greater cosmic community, not as conquerors or victims, but as partners. Ilara knew the road ahead was uncertain, The Idrix's presence challenged the very definition of what it meant to be alive, to be human. But in that challenge lay hope. Hope that humanity might rise beyond fear and find harmony amid the stars. As Earth's skies shimmered with the unseen threads of the bionetwork, a new dawn was quietly awakening. A dawn where silence spoke louder than words, and connection held the key to survival. The success of the Mind Bridge experiment sent ripples through the scientific and diplomatic communities worldwide. Humanity had taken its first tentative step into communion with an alien consciousness, not through battle or fear, but through understanding. Dr. Ilara Min watched as Kian Rice, now a key ambassador between the two worlds, shared his insights. The Idrix aren't invaders, Kian explained during a global broadcast. They're survivors seeking preservation, weaving life into a collective tapestry to endure the vast dangers of space. We have a choice: fear the unknown or embrace the potential of unity. With the Mind Bridge as their tool, Ilara's team developed protocols for careful, controlled exchanges between human minds and the expanding bionetwork. They began training individuals, scientists, artists, philosophers, to enter these shared mental spaces, learning to speak the alien language of light, sound, and thought. Each connection deepened humanity's understanding of the Idrix collective mind. They revealed stories of a homeworld shattered by cosmic radiation, a civilization forced to evolve beyond physical form to survive. Their transformation wasn't destruction but adaptation, melding their consciousness into networks of life, seeking partners rather than enemies. However, the Mind Bridge was more than a scientific achievement. It was a test of humanity's capacity for empathy and trust. Many people struggled with the idea of merging their minds with an alien entity. Public opinion was divided. Some feared losing individuality. Others saw it as an evolutionary leap. Amara Singh, the ecologist, observed the changes with cautious optimism. She noted how ecosystems touched by the Idrix bionetwork were healing, deserts blooming with unexpected greenery, polluted rivers clearing, even the atmosphere showing signs of stabilization. Still, questions remained. Would humanity change irrevocably? Could they retain their identity while blending with something so different? And what of those who rejected the network? Would they be left behind or pushed away? To answer these, Ilara's team pushed forward with deeper connections. One evening, during a Mind Bridge session, Kian experienced a profound vision. A star system on the edge of collapse, a dying sun, and the Idrix collective gently weaving new life across its planets, preserving memories and species in their vast consciousness. It's not conquest, Kian told Ilara afterward. It's a covenant, a promise to remember, to protect, to grow together. Inspired, humanity began extending the Mind Bridge beyond Earth, linking with the bionetworks on the Moon, Mars, and even robotic explorers drifting in the outer solar system. The alien intelligence was becoming a guardian of life, a cosmic partner rather than a threat. Around the world, art and culture flourished as people embraced new perspectives. Poetry inspired by shared thoughts, music resonating with alien harmonies, architecture blending organic and technological forms. Ilara realized that the Mind Bridge was more than a tool. It was a symbol of what humanity could become: curious, compassionate, connected. Yet, in the quiet corners of the solar system, the Idrix watched patiently, awaiting humanity's full acceptance. The question remained: would humanity rise to meet this new dawn, or turn away from the promise of unity? As the Mind Bridge grew stronger and more stable, humanity's dialogue with the Idrix collective deepened. What began as tentative mental exchanges evolved into true conversations, a symphony of shared ideas and emotions that transcended language and culture. The world watched in awe as Ilara Min and her team coordinated the first official meeting between human representatives and the Idrix intelligence, a convergence not of armies, but of minds. In a specially designed facility orbiting Earth, the pioneers gathered: diplomats, scientists, philosophers, artists, all connected through the Mind Bridge. their consciousness woven into a luminous web of thoughts and sensations. The Idric's presence was unlike any encounter humanity had imagined. It was a vast, shimmering collective, a flowing consciousness of intertwined minds and memories stretching back eons. Yet within its immense intelligence, there was a profound kindness and curiosity. The Idrics shared their history in vivid sensory detail, visions of a radiant world devastated by cosmic storms, their transformation from physical beings to a collective bionetwork, and their mission to safeguard life across the galaxy. Human representatives reciprocated, offering stories of Earth's rich diversity, its triumphs and struggles, and the human spirit's indomitable will to survive and create. The dialogue was challenging. The Idrics operated on concepts beyond human comprehension. Time as fluid, individuality as a spectrum, life as endless cycles of connection and renewal. Yet the humans brought their own strengths, creativity, empathy, and the stubborn hope that had carried them through millennia. Together, they crafted what came to be known as the Pact of Understanding, a mutual agreement to respect boundaries while sharing knowledge and resources. The Idrics promised to protect Earth's ecosystems without overriding human will. Humanity pledged to embrace new knowledge while preserving their cultural identity. This was not a surrender, but a partnership, an alliance born of respect and shared destiny. The Pact also established joint projects to restore damaged worlds and create thriving habitats blending human technology and Idric's biointelligence. Scientists and bioengineers collaborated, crafting ecosystems that could sustain life in ways neither species had achieved alone. Public reaction was mixed. Some hailed the Pact as a historic leap forward, proof that cooperation across the stars was possible. Others remained wary, fearing loss of autonomy or identity. To address these fears, Ilara and her team emphasized transparency and education. Town halls, broadcasts, and art exhibitions spread the message. This was a new chapter for humanity, one written with open minds and open hearts. Meanwhile, on the lunar surface and throughout the solar system, bionetworks and human outposts grew increasingly integrated. Colonists reported a sense of harmony, a balance between human ingenuity and the alien intelligence's nurturing presence. Amara Singh's ecological studies revealed that the combined efforts were restoring Earth's damaged environments faster than any technology alone could achieve. The Pact of Understanding symbolized a hopeful future, a future where humanity was no longer alone in the cosmos, but part of a greater living web. As stars glimmered in the vastness beyond, Earth's children looked upward not with fear, but with wonder, and the quiet promise of unity. Years had passed since the Pact of Understanding was forged. Humanity and the Idrics collective had become intertwined in a way once unimaginable. The bionetwork stretched seamlessly across Earth, the Moon, and outposts on Mars, weaving a new fabric of life and intelligence. Cities flourished with the harmonious blending of technology and biology. Buildings breathed with living walls, powered by the network's subtle energy. Transportation systems moved in silent efficiency, guided by the Idrics' vast knowledge, and people adapted to new ways of thinking, communicating not just with words, but through shared experiences and emotions. Ilara Min, now a respected elder in the global community, reflected on the journey. The fearful skeptics had given way to explorers and dreamers who embraced the future with open hearts. At the heart of this transformation was the Mind Bridge, no longer just an experimental device, but a gateway, connecting millions of minds to the collective, enabling empathy and understanding on a scale never before possible. Kian Reyes, once the first volunteer, had become a leader in the movement of neural ambassadors, individuals who traveled between human and Idrics communities, facilitating dialogue and collaboration. Together, they faced new challenges: how to preserve cultural diversity in the face of increasing interconnectedness, how to balance progress with tradition, how to ensure that humanity's spirit remained alive within this vast collective consciousness. But those challenges only deepened their commitment. Art flourished in unexpected ways, merging human creativity with the Idrix's intricate patterns of light and sound. Music transcended languages, and stories traveled as living experiences shared across minds. Education evolved, teaching children not just facts but empathy and interconnectedness, preparing them for lives where the boundaries between self and other blurred. In remote regions, the restored ecosystems bloomed, showing the power of the alliance. Deserts once barren became forests. Polluted oceans thrived with life. And skies cleared, revealing stars that once seemed out of reach. But the most profound change was within people themselves. They found a new sense of belonging, not just to their nation or planet, but to a cosmic community. Loneliness, fear, and isolation gave way to connection, hope, and purpose. One evening, as Ilara stood beneath the stars, she felt the familiar hum of the bio-network, a gentle, reassuring presence that connected her to billions of minds and countless forms of life. The Idrix Collective had fulfilled its promise, not to conquer, but to coexist, to uplift, to evolve. Humanity had not only survived the warning, it had risen because of it. A new dawn was here, not born of conflict or fear, but of understanding and unity. As the first light of a transformed future bathed the earth, Ilara knew this was only the beginning of a grand journey, one that would carry humanity beyond the stars, hand in hand with the vast and wondrous life of the cosmos. The transformation of Earth and its people was only the beginning. With the pact of understanding solidified and the mind bridge connecting billions of minds, humanity stood ready to take its place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as partners in a vast, living cosmos. Exploration shifted from competition to collaboration. New missions ventured beyond the solar system, guided by the Idrix Collective's wisdom and powered by human ingenuity. Starships carried ambassadors of both species, sharing knowledge, culture, and life in ways that transcended physical form. In the deep reaches of space, humanity encountered other civilizations, some curious, others wary, all different yet bound by the same desire to survive and thrive. Through the shared consciousness of the bio-network, these encounters became opportunities for mutual growth and understanding. Back on Earth, life thrived in a renewed balance. Cities harmonized with nature, technology blended seamlessly with biology, and the planet's ecosystems healed, revealing the power of unity between species and worlds. The Mind Bridge had become more than a tool. It was a symbol of humanity's greatest strength, the ability to listen, learn, and adapt. Children grew up knowing that their minds could reach across vast distances, sharing dreams and ideas with friends light years away. Ilara Min, now an icon of this new era, often spoke of the journey from fear to friendship. "We faced the unknown with open hearts," she would say. And in doing so, we found that the greatest frontier was not the stars, but the connections we forged. The Idrix Collective, once silent observers, became active partners in the stewardship of life. They helped nurture dying worlds, shared their vast knowledge of cosmic ecosystems, and offered guidance without domination. Yet, despite their vast differences, humans and Idrix found common ground in curiosity, creativity, and the relentless hope that defines all living beings. As humanity's ships sailed beyond the horizon, they carried with them the legacy of a species that had faced extinction and chosen unity instead. The warning had not been a threat, but an invitation to grow, to evolve, and to embrace the boundless possibilities of existence. Under the endless canopy of stars, Earth's children looked forward with wonder and courage, ready to write new stories in the grand tapestry of the universe. And as the bio-network pulsed gently beneath their feet, they knew they were never truly alone. Together, they had become a shining beacon, a testament to the power of understanding, empathy, and hope. The future was theirs to create, beyond fear, beyond conflict, beyond the horizon.